Hi guys, today we'll discuss IELTS Writing Task 1, difficult charts. Let's get started. Well, let's analyze this chart. We can see that there are two tables, Canada and the USA, and we can see that there are people from three countries that decided to study in these countries. So in Canada, there were students from China, the USA, and India. And in the USA, there were students from China, India, and Canada. Well, and we can see that the information is given for 2002, 2003, and the change is shown. The change shows how many more students studied in 2003 than in 2002. Okay, so you can see that there were positive changes in Canada, so in all countries. In the USA, it was almost the same, but there was Indian figures that decreased by 9%. Okay. Also pay attention that we have three countries and the total figure. Okay. Before starting the essay, before starting the writing process, you need to analyze and decide what will be mentioned in the overview. Okay, overview is a very important paragraph. It's like the summary. Okay, so we have the introduction, overview, body paragraph 1 and body paragraph 2. By the way, overview can be written together with the introduction or after body paragraphs as well. Okay, so it's totally fine if you place it as you do with the conclusion. Okay, so at the end of the essay, but we generally recommend that you write it after the introduction so as to not to forget about it. So okay, the introduction is simple. You just write one sentence about this chart, like two tables show how many students from India, China, Canada, and the US chose to study in these two countries in 2002 and 2003 or between 2002 and 2003. It's totally fine. I've shown the sample here. You can see this. Well, let's now look at the overview. So overview is the paragraph where you don't include some statistics. In this paragraph, you don't include some statistics, for example, like 45% of people, or they were 5,400 students, but then the figure rose by 45%. No, nothing like this. Details will be mentioned in body paragraphs. But in the overview part, you will mention key information like general trends and changes. Okay, for example, pay attention to Canada. In Canada, you can see that every country in Canada changed and rose significantly. So there were significant changes in all countries. So, and the total figure for the USA, you see, it's 581,000, and here it's 59,000. So you see the difference, almost 10 times more. You need to mention that the total figure of students and students by countries were much higher in the USA than in Canada. You need to mention that while in Canada there were the number of students from all countries increased, this wasn't the case with the USA. And also we can mention that Canadian let's say statistics noted that they were increasing significant changes, significant rises, even you can mention significant changes or rises. Okay, the same is for the opposite is for the USA. You see very small changes. Okay, so this can be mentioned in the overview. You can also mention that in Canada, while Chinese students preferred to study in Canada more than other countries, in the USA it was different. It was more from India. Students were more from India. Okay, so it's totally fine. Then you write body paragraphs. How to divide this essay into body paragraphs, because we normally need to write two paragraphs. Well, I would recommend that you write total figures in the first paragraph and the remaining figures and their comparison in the second paragraph. You would say, can't we write Canadian ones in the first paragraph, US ones in the second paragraph. Yes, you can, but in this way, your comparison will be a bit complicated and you won't show comparisons, which is very important. Okay, so now let's look, total figures in the first paragraph and compare statistics in the USA and Canada in the second paragraph. Let's now look at sample sentences for this essay. Okay, as for US universities, it is very good to start with a clear referencing. Indian students topped the table. Top means to lead, with 200,000 people choosing to study in US institutions. This figure, however, fell by 9% in 2003. You see, however, because we showed it topped, but unfortunately, this figure increased. Of course, we don't use unfortunately because writing task 1 doesn't include your opinion or emotions, thereby amounting to 189,000 students. By the way, pay attention to this phrase. It is the result clause. It's a very great clause. And pay attention to this one. It top the table with someone doing something. Also a great structure for you to use. Okay. So for the second one, a second sentence. It's great to start with statistics. Okay. Over 100,000 students from China chose to study in the USA in 2002, with a slight increase in the next year. And with a slight increase in the next year, this number was equal to 116,600. You see? So, also a good sentence, and is used. Two sentences are linked, and perfect. And we start with the statistics. It's good. It's great. The third one, while there were around 5,000 students from China and the USA who furthered their studies in Canada, you see, continued their studies in Canada in 2002, only the former figure is the first mention, okay, rose by half, reaching 7,850. In contrast, or by contrast, you see, this linker is meant to show the contrast between China and the USA. They both started at the same point, at almost the same point. You can observe this. 5,000 and 5,400, almost the same. So the figure rose by half, and in contrast, the figure for the USA grew just by 9%, or by just 9%. Okay, both are fine. So this is how you can write this essay. Okay. Well, thank you for watching this video, and make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and other channels. Thank you so much. Take care of yourselves. Bye.